I know what was his motion. You're off my Christmas card list. I have a windmill cookie. We'll go there.
Okay.
I got more. You want me to make more motions?
Sure. Well, are we sticking to where we're talking about sound?
If you wish.
Okay.
I don't have any more on sound right now, I don't think.
Okay.
I got some on height and on shadow flicker, and one on airport setbacks.
Well, I believe that we are, there is a section in the beginning of the model ordinance that deals with is there in the
I don't have anything prepared on the little ones personally. Discuss them. On page 5.
Yeah, on page 5, that was for the on-site wind energy systems.
When it comes to noise of the on-site systems, which we're talking about smaller ones, we're not down to residential scale, right, though? These are for personal use in the ag district, is that correct? I think that's the scenario. I don't really see a reason to change the sound limits from one size to the other. I talked to Rick James free of charge, so despite the claims that he's in this for the money, he consulted with me for no charge on this very question, and he thinks that the 40 decibel is reasonable protection for any type of community noise, be it produced by a large turbine or a small one. There's some unique things about the large turbines that may not be true with the smaller ones, which is approximately 50% of the sound energy in the large turbines is produced below 20 hertz. And the much smaller ones are not likely to make a lot of that low frequency. In general, it's the low frequency noise that causes most of the annoyance. And despite what we've heard from Mr. Goldberg, ambient noise that is equal to the turbine noise, it does not effectively mask it. In fact, turbine noise can be the predominant noise in a soundscape as much as 15 decibels lower than ambient noise because of the predominance of low frequency. So to assume that 45 mile an hour worth, 45 decibel of wind noise is going to mask 45 decibels of turbine noise is probably not accurate. There's a lot of studies that demonstrate that.
Mr. Goldberg actually said that.
Did he say the same thing?
In the deposition, yes.
Oh, in the deposition. That's correct, in the state of Vermont. He said that in Vermont. He did not say that here last month. You are correct. Mr. Goldberg did not appear, and I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying, when I give one a straight reading, couple of what I read with his other stuff, they seem to conflict. Low frequency noise is by far the predominant nuisance aspect of these sounds. Neither did I find it credible when he said low frequency sound, the DBC scale, is not adequate for sound power levels below 90 decibels. The purpose of this article from Leventhal is to suggest that 60 and 70 decibels of C-scale sound in commercial ductwork causes significant annoyance to people inside those buildings. And it's actually a fairly common standard of sound, the DBC scale, in sound pressure levels below 90. All that to say, I think 40 decibels nighttime, 45 day, I don't even remember if the language has a day-night construct in it, but I think 40 night, 45 days is certainly reasonable for on-site as well. Why would we change it?
So what I was thinking that we would do is go through the large winds, the the commercial size and then go back and revisit the other, for the on-site, which would be the people that wanted to put up a tower on their own property. Do you think we should address that now, or go back and revisit it all at one time?
I don't, the on-site one group at a later date.
At a later date, yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense and the most logical approach to that, so that you were thinking about the commercial size at this point tonight. So we'll hold that till we go back and revisit that whole thing for on-site turbines and wind generators. The next logical place that needs to be filled in is, I think it's on page 13, if I'm looking for blanks. This is under general requirements, any proposed equipment, and then it's blank feet or greater in height shall be required to provide certified drawings of the structures. Drawings of the structural components of utility scale, WES, conditional use, MET towers, or WEGF, including structures, components. So that would be a height requirement. Is there any thoughts of what may be filled in that blank?
I could not come to a quick conclusion on this. I was hoping Dwight might offer insight. I mean, they're not really much different than any other structure. I mean, I can see small residential units being exempt, but you start getting into structures 80, 90, 100 feet tall. I don't know. I mean, at which point do we start to require some certified stamp drawings on these things? I mean, you know, how do you make a case for 100 feet? I can make a case for 50, you know.
Yeah, I know. I think the neighbors put one up at 50 feet without drawings. I don't think we should go any higher than 100 feet, but.
I don't either.
What would the, like in the residential, is there a requirement, in duplexes, right, you have to, is it in our current zoning?
For engineer drawings, you mean?
Yeah, for engineering.
I don't think anything, I think after, maybe triplex, or, I don't know what the limit is. That's more of a code issue rather than zoning issue, isn't it?
Right.
You know, multifamily at a certain level usually triggers,
It used to be anything over a 3, but I think they went down to any other duplex.
so triplex would require.
But a duplex would not?
Correct. Duplexes is okay.
In fact, we permit duplexes on a single family lot. I think Litchfield does not. It has to be in a multifamily. Yeah.
Building wise, I think duplexes are allowed.
I mean, a 75-foot high structure can propose some risk depending on the setbacks from the property line. But how far, I mean, we're in the ag district. I mean, generally there's going to be some separation. I got to believe even these small guys that furnish these small turbines are going to have engineered drawings available from the vendor. You know, it shouldn't be that rigorous of a requirement to meet.
Yeah, no, I know down the street from a cousin put one up, and I'm trying to remember how tall his was, but there was no drawings provided by the supplier of equipment. He basically just poured a hole in concrete. So that's my concern, is that even short ones don't have drawings. Where do you start?
Gary, you know quite a bit about these things, do you?
Most of them do now. Most of them have drawings.
Come with engineered,
Yeah.
stamped engineered drawings?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be an unreasonable burden to ask for those? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we need your drawings for any structure except an ag building, right? I mean, everything except ag structures are exempt, are not exempt from drawings and so forth. The question is, do you need engineered drawings? But these are gonna have engineering done for them already from the vendor. I mean, houses don't have engineered drawings typically.
Depends on jurisdiction.
Right, but,
Some jurisdictions do require.
right, but it is jurisdictional.
Correct.
I mean, it's not a requirement of state building code to have engineered drawings until you get past, what, 3,500 square feet?
Not in the state of Michigan. Some states do require.
Okay, so they don't have to be the licensed architect has to prepare them above 3,500 square feet in Michigan, is my understanding.
That sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. 75 feet,
Is that 50,
50 feet,
75, 50?
50, what do you guys got? Opinion on
In
it?
order to be efficient, they have to be up over 100, don't they?
Right,
Even,
but people are building them much shorter, whether they're efficient or not.
I know, yeah. Because I know there's towers going up much shorter.
There's one on Yankee that can't be much over 60 feet tall, I don't think.
Yeah, that's
Even
what
spins once in a while.
Or is that the highway or? Yeah, that's what, that's just my cousin.
If you put it up 60 with it, and the guy wanted to go 100, you have to come get a variance?
No, we're not putting a limit on how tall, we're saying at what height do they need to have engineered drawings instead of just go ahead and build it with a simple building permit. I mean, they're all gonna require a building permit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if this 50-foot fails, what happens?
There's little risk, but I think most all of them are gonna have some kind of,
So you start.
why would we not say all of them? I mean, but then what do you do? Some guys build them themselves.
Yeah,
There's a
that
whole
throws
cottage
them
industry
out.
on the internet. I mean, I'm just worried about risk to people other than the guy building it himself, but they won't always build it themselves. It'll be erected by a contractor. Which could, how do we protect?
Erected on your barn, is it agricultural?
And Gary Bice will need something on which to base his approval or rejection of the drawing. I'd say 50 feet.
Put 50 feet.
50 feet. We're gonna put that in the motion.
sure.
I move we set that number, whichever one it is, at 50 feet.
It's on page 13, item
Now,
3D.
13D, 50 feet. Good idea.
Support.